Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here with another batch of new bugs for the new Halo Master Chief Collection. So as you know, not too long ago, and I've mentioned this many times, but a big new update came out for Halo MCC that fixed a lot of things and upgraded the game to like 4K and HDR. And it was a really cool update, but there was still a lot of bugs left in it. But that was just like an initial patch, and 343 is always constantly further patching the game even more and fixing more bugs and adding new features. So the purpose of this video, of course, is to help them find more bugs and, well, put it out there so that they're aware of them. So with that in mind, we got 12 bugs today in this video. Some of them are more like minor or feature or like feedback stuff, but I decided to throw them all into this one video. So the first one, as you can see right now, is that on night missions in ODST with visor mode on, in the distance, brutes with not necessarily in the distance, but brutes with the overshield from the engineers, they look like giant walking blobs of light, and they're like, as you can see, they're like really bright blobs. So compared to the 360 version of ODST, which we have here, on a 360 version, at the same part of the same mission, and it's not just this mission, it's really any mission where brutes get overshield at night and you can turn visor on. It's similar. You can still see that brutes glow a lot more with the overshield and visor mode on. However, it's not as bright as the MCC version of ODST. It seems like more of like their head and chest glow, but you could still make out other parts of their body that's covered in like the overshield. They're not like walking giant blobs of light like they are on the MCC version of Halo 3 ODST. So it's a minor discrepancy. It's probably something to do with like the lighting or something to do with rendering in the new MCC. But that's just a little small bug, I guess, with the new ODST. Now, the next bug we're going to tackle, this is a small one, but it happens to me quite a lot, and I suspect it's probably happened to other people. But sometimes when you select a game type, and it doesn't have to be like in custom games, it could be in a Forge, but once you select a map, and if you select your game type, sometimes it like glitches out, and you get a blank game type with blank game options, as you just saw there. And if you start up this blank game type with no game options or settings, it will start loading the map for a couple seconds, then it will immediately kick you out back to the main menu. So you won't be able to start it up, but it happens every now and then where you get a blank game type. And it's just like a weird bug that happens. This next one is more of this next bug is like a minor inconvenience, I guess. This is very similar to that bug on the beginning of ODST, the Prepare to Drop mission, where at the very beginning it shows you all the text, like the story of ODST, the whole prequel and everything, explaining what's going on. If you remember one of my previous videos, as you can just see it happen here, if you skip that text part, it skips the entire cutscene. It did not do that on the old ODST, on a previous version of MCC. And likewise, that same bug applies to the epilogue cutscene. If you skip the first part of the cutscene, it skips the entire cutscene and ends the mission right away. It doesn't skip to the next part with Johnson talking to the engineer, nor does it skip to Truth showing up in the legendary ending. It just skips the entire cutscene completely. So you have to watch the entire cutscene from start to finish. You can't skip to a certain part. So it's just a little similar bug to the Prepare Drop cutscene. Now, this next one is a very interesting one, and I really did not notice it until like just now, basically. On the main menu of MCC, if we go to certain game types, if we go to the multiplayer menu, and then we look at the custom games, if you look closely at the images to the right, where it says custom games, it shows you a bunch of maps with various game types. If you look at the second map and game type, look very closely. Does it look familiar? If it does, then you're probably right. The map it's showing is Timberland from Halo 1, or rather Halo CE. However, the game type it showed was Infection, which is impossible, because Infection does not exist in Halo 1. So this is the map Timberland. As you can see, it matches, but there is no Infection game type for Halo 1. So that picture is actually incorrect, in that it shows Infection for Halo 1. It should show any of these other game types, and that would be fine. Or it could change the map to another Halo game that does support Infection. But it's just a little minor mismatch there, I guess, with the game type and map. Now, continuing on with more main menu glitches. This one, I'm not sure if this is like because of the new version of MCC. I don't think I've ever noticed it in the previous version. But if you enter like a lobby, like let's say a Halo 3 custom game lobby, like right now we're in, and we back out, you can see the image to the right. It became the multiplayer menu image. See, it says custom games, and it shows you a bunch of the random game types. Whereas normally, when you back out, or when you're on this menu, when you have Halo 3 or any other of the other Halo games highlighted, it shows you like, actually shows Halo 3 with a sample of Halo 3 maps, or maps from all the other games. It's not just Halo 3 it affects. Like I said, it affects all the other ones. So you go in, you back out, and it just becomes the main menu version of the custom games menu, instead of the actual game's like own menu and images. Now, the next bug for number 6. This one is also a little bit of an interesting, weird thing with the images on the main menu. If we go to Forge on the main menu, in the multiplayer, we just hover over it. If you look closely to the set of maps, first of all, there's 2 maps that are duplicated. They're the same, and they both show territories. I imagine that's a mistake there, and they probably want like a full variety, so it's... or I don't know if it could be on purpose or whatever, but it's 2 of the same maps with the territory game types. There's not necessarily anything wrong with the map and game type, but the only weird thing is I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what map that is. I thought it was a Halo 4 map at first, but I couldn't find any Halo 4 images that match that map. Nor could I find it in like any of the other Halo games. There were some that looked kinda similar, but I couldn't find any images that match that exactly. And I thought maybe it was from like Spartan Ops or maybe Campaign, but I just couldn't find anything. So I don't know what that map is, actually. I have no idea. It's quite a mystery, but it is duplicated with the same game type. So I don't know if that's something that should be fixed or not. This next one's kind of an old one. Actually, it's been around for a while, but it still hasn't been fixed, and it's just kind of funny. But as you can see here in my career stats, if you look in the top right, I have finished Master Chief Collection 111%. So somehow, I have finished the entire MCC and then some. Specifically, I finished it and then did an extra 11% again, somehow. Really, it shouldn't be possible to finish over 100% of the game. But for some reason, you can, and it's still there. It's been there for a while, since the old MCC. This next one is an old glitch you might remember from the early days of my channel. Like with the Secret Marine, or when I did the old time travel glitch videos. But this is not just limited to the map of the Covenant. It's any map on Halo 3 where you get out of the map, and you see that hall of mirrors in the distance. Now, on MCC, if you remember, I'll show you the 360 version in a bit, but on MCC, and this is only the new version of MCC, the previous one did not have this issue, but out here it's just a white field. What was supposed to be out here in the past was you would see mirrored images of yourself as you move around in there, and you can kind of see it now when I like melee and stuff, but for some reason it just becomes all white in this case, and it's only in the new version of MCC. Now, I know it's like a glitch to get out of the map and everything, so it's not really like, did they really need to fix a glitch or whatever? But the reason why I bring it up is because, so right here we're on the 360 version, you can see what it originally looked like. And if you guys did this on split screen, you could actually see the other player's screen in these hall of mirrors kind of thing. But anyways, the reason why I bring this up is because even though it's technically like a glitch out here and, it doesn't necessarily need fixing, it could potentially cause like rendering glitches in other areas of the game that are more important, because if you change like one thing like major with the rendering, who knows what else it could affect. So that's why I figured it might be necessary, or it might be somewhat important to look into this and see like what else it might affect. But I'm just gonna do a couple more comparisons against the 360 version. So one other interesting thing with the difference between the two is that if we go to theater mode in the 360 version, if you go to free camera, it does become all white out there. But if you take a screenshot in theater mode, it becomes a blue background where the hall of mirrors is. Now, I know it looks all glitchy right now, because this is on a backwards compatible version of Halo 3, and it only does it on this version. I'm not sure why. But the actual screenshot itself, when it's saved, it will actually show like a blue background where the hall of mirrors is. Instead of like, you can kind of see it when it like shows you the preview briefly. But on MCC, if we do the same thing, if we go to theater mode and take a screenshot, this is how the screenshots turn out. Instead of showing like a solid blue background, it does show the mirrored images somewhat. It's like weird. It's, I don't know. It just becomes all weird like that. And it affects like, I really can't like describe like why it's like that. It's really different with how it reacts in the 360 version of Halo 3, as well as the old version of Halo 3. Now, I have some older screenshots from before. Fortunately, I took a few screenshots of other maps where we got out of the map. And here, if you look in the background, see in the top left corner and stuff, it's all blue. This is on the old version of MCC, where if you took a screenshot of the Hall of Mirrors, it does become blue, just like it does on the 360 version. But for some reason, on the new version, it just, I don't know, it's all weird. It's all white in gameplay, and in, you know, screenshots, it's all like messed up. But anyways, moving right along to number 9. This one is also like another menu mistake, I guess. If you go to the cross-game playlist, so every Halo game has their own playlist, but in cross-game, if you look at the available games in the preview, it shows Halo 4 twice, and Halo 2 3 times, and Halo CE once. But not once in the cross-game playlist preview does it show Halo 3, which, I mean, it's not really a bug, but it might be like a mistake or oversight, because, you know, I'm sure you'd want to include Halo 3 in a cross-game playlist, at least one of its missions, because the cross-game playlist is supposed to include all the Halo games in it, except for ODST. ODST wasn't part of the cross-game playlist at launch, and still isn't. Now, speaking of ODST, if you go to the leaderboards, or if you go to like career stats or anything, if you want to look for your ODST stats, it doesn't have its own section here. There's plenty of space to put an ODST section here, but it doesn't have it. If you want to find ODST stats, you have to go to Halo 3. And it still says Halo 3 here, but if you scroll all the way down past the last Halo 3 mission, then you get to the ODST missions. So they combine Halo 3 and ODST in the same bundle of stats. And it's the same with achievements under career stats. If you want to look at your ODST achievements, you have to go to the Halo 3 section and scroll all the way down past the last Halo 3 achievement, and then you'll have your ODST achievements. It's a minor inconvenience, but I personally, this is, like I said, this is more of a feedback kind of thing. It's not really a bug. But I personally feel like ODST should have its own section. There's definitely enough space there to put another ODST image there. And ODST, like with the recent update, the new update, it already got its own sections for a campaign. And for the playlist. It used to be completely combined with Halo 3 on the old MCC for both the campaign and the playlist. So, you know, if they added that there, I think it'd be really helpful and convenient if they added ODST, if they gave ODST its own section for leaderboards and achievements. Now, for number 11, this one is a weird one, and it actually comes from Halo 3, but apparently it still affects ODST. Sometimes in ODST, a rendering glitch will happen randomly, where certain objects or characters will turn black. So as you saw there, one of the ODSTs there was like totally all black, including the grunt was all black. And now the assault rifle that we're holding here is also like solid black. Same with the machine gun turret here, as well as our own character. At least certain parts of the character are all black. This happened a lot in early versions of Halo 3 on the MCC Insider. It was corrected for the most part, but it still occasionally happens. For example, in Halo 3, with your footsteps in the snow on the last level, it'll lead like a lot of black droplings. I mean, it looks really funny when you see like a character walking around leaving like all these black droplings behind them, but it's been mostly improved on Halo 3. But on ODST, I wasn't sure if this still happened, but I guess because ODST never got the same like insider treatment as Halo 3 did, the same rendering bugs from Halo 3 still exist in ODST in this case. So just wanted to point that out there as well. But it's very similar to the one from Halo 3 back in the day. Now this last one, it's not exactly on MCC, but if you go to the credits in the extra section, when you open credits, it takes you to the Edge browser on your console, and it loads up Halo Waypoint website where the credits are, and it has credits for each of the Halo game, including the entirety of MCC. However, Halo 3 ODST is missing from the credits list. They got all the other games included, but not ODST. And if you're wondering, Halo 3 ODST's credits are not included in Halo 3 either. I know, like, in MCC, like, stats and achievements, it is bundled together with Halo 3, but no, not the credits. ODST is completely omitted from the credits. It's, and it's not in the MCC credits either. The MCC credits is really more for the overall thing, and each individual game has their own, like, original credits, I assume. But yeah, see, this is all the games included in MCC, as it says at the top, but it does omit ODST for some reason. I'm guessing, you know, when ODST is made as a DLC, they forgot to add a section for it on the credits page on the website. So, just wanted to point it out as well for the final issue in this video. But yeah, so that about wraps it up for all of the new bugs and I guess issues for the latest version of Halo MCC. Hopefully, you know, this video helps 343 squash these bugs and makes Halo MCC a lot better in the future. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it to be interesting. I know, like, bug documentaries aren't always the most interesting videos, but hopefully you guys did enjoy this still. And if you did, make sure to leave a like. And if there's any other bugs I missed or any bugs you know of that you think should be fixed in a new version of MCC that nobody has noticed yet, feel free to let me know in the comments, and you know, I might check it out and tackle it. But other than that, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.